Hey everybody, happy holidays. Wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on in the market right now just because we had a pretty big, there's been a couple bad weeks for the Dow. December hasn't started so good for the Dow, that's for sure. Large caps. In fact, I think that by the Wednesday of last week, the Dow had actually been down more days in a row than it had been since 1978 or something like that. So obviously not the best first or start of the month, but you start seeing rumblings out there and people talking about things that maybe aren't necessarily valid, or they're trying to freak you out, or just sharing information that causes more panic than it does any good. So I thought I would just record a quick what we call kind of inside the huddle video here. So this isn't scheduled. This isn't something I would normally do unless there's something going on that justifies a change. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of go through the S&P 500, a couple of the things I'm looking at here, starting with kind of what happened this past week. So first of all, the market rebounded on Friday after having a really, really bad day. On Wednesday during the Fed decision, and some of why the market went down as much as it did that day had to do with the S&P 500 being at above 6,000. It's a round number. People like round numbers. There's it's year end. There's going to be some people sometimes that take profit taking, that take profits. So you're going to see some profit taking. This whole potential government shutdown thing. I know something came out again on Friday saying that there's a good chance the government's going to shut down. Here's the real news. Since 1976, the government's been shut down 22 times, or this would be the 22nd time, I should say. So this has happened before. It's not that big a deal. In fact, not to sound cynical or sarcastic here, but maybe we'll be better off if the government isn't running for a few days. But anyway, I wouldn't worry too much about the government shutdown. The Fed, during their statement, it was expected there was going to be 4 rate cuts next year. Now they're talking 2, and then there was some kind of in between the lines reading that took place where they were saying that maybe there might not be any rate cuts. We'll see what happens, obviously, and we'll see what happens with the stock market, with inflation, and with what happens after the first of the year and going into the first and second quarter of 2025. But for now, the Fed did cut rates a quarter point, so I'm not really too worried about any of that right now. And the reason for that is because I'm looking at the charts, I'm looking at supply and demand, momentum, divergence, trend, I'm looking at volume. So I'm looking at all the things that tell us what to do here. In other words, I'm letting the market tell us what to do, as opposed to listening to news, listening to fundamentals, listening to shocking things that happen, whatever your apocalypse du jour is. So if we look at the charts real here, this is the S&P 500, and obviously I've scanned out here to 2 years. Doesn't really look that nasty. I mean, if you look at just the decline here, 2021, 22, a decline of somewhere in the ballpark intraday of about 26%. No fun. The market bottoms, late 2022, starts making it way up. We got higher highs, higher lows, and that's pretty much all we've seen lately is higher highs and higher lows. And if you look at right here, this is the October lows of 2023 after a nice little correction. I mean, I don't like manually driven, easy for me to say, manually drawn trend lines, but I mean, this is an uptrend. Higher highs, higher lows. I don't think we should be too worried there. Second of all, I know that in my monthly market brief, I talked about a divergence, a momentum divergence, I should say, that I've been paying attention to. Now, there's a couple ways you can look at this. If I just draw the divergence myself right here, you could say that this was it, and then it failed. You could say this was it, and it failed. You could say it's still valid, and because the market's still heading higher, and we're still seeing lower highs and momentum, even though the market's printing higher highs. But at the same time, this big, huge drop that we saw on Wednesday and Thursday, that might have been the resolution that we needed for this negative divergence to kind of play itself out. And ironically enough, it bottomed out right around 36, 37 on RSI. So usually strong markets tend to bottom above 40, and we don't start really getting worried about negative momentum regimes until it crosses below 30 down here on the bottom side. So I guess at the end of the day, what I'll share is that I think this is probably just a pullback. I think that there's nothing really to be too worried about. This is definitely not a major market top yet. Obviously, every major market top starts with a pullback. Every correction starts with a pullback. Every market crash starts with a correction. So you have to go through this progression first before you can really start getting too worried or concerned about whether or not it's time to freak out or not. And by the way, when it's time to freak out, the person you're working with, your financial advisor, financial planner, portfolio manager, or a combination of the three, they're probably already doing what they should be doing before you even pick up the phone or go to your computer and send an email, because that's our job. That's what we're supposed to be doing here, is paying attention, making sure we're managing risk, and then reacting to and making adjustments to the market when it tells us we need to make adjustments. So with that all being said, again, happy holidays. I probably won't record another video between now and the end of the year, but if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out, shoot me an email, shoot us a message, go to our website at libertaswealth.com. If you'd like to get a second opinion on your portfolio, a second opinion on your financial plan, if you don't have a retirement plan or financial plan, then you should. So definitely reach out. Go again, libertaswealth.com. There's a little button there that says see if we're a good fit or something like that. And you can always, of course, if you don't want to go through those questions, you can always just go to the contact us page and then shoot us an email that way, and I'd be happy to respond. So again, happy holidays, and we'll see you next year.